Casey Anthony has been back in the news lately talking about the hypothetical if I had children situation.
She said that she wasn't averse to having more kids, maybe want some more kids. Maybe.
Well, look, this case captivated America for a very long time, and now Investigation Discovery is going back into the case. They've uncovered a bunch of new information that could really change everything you knew about Casey Anthony, a lot of stuff, change your impression, change your mind on stuff. And somebody who was involved in this project is Beth Karas. Beth is really one of the leading experts. She's been covering Casey Anthony for years. Beth, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
I'm doing really well. So word on the street is that Casey Anthony, an American murder mystery, has uncovered some bombshell audio. There's a lot of new stuff in this show.
Well, I'm not disclosing any new stuff that's in the show because I want people to watch the show.
Sure.
But it is also a look back at this case that really captivated America between 2008 and 2011 when that little baby, she was 2 years, 10 months old, went missing and her mother didn't tell anyone for 30 days.
Yeah.
Now, having seen and gone through everything that you've gone through in making this show, which sounds like it's going to be absolutely fascinating, are you surprised that Casey Anthony actually beat this? Does it make you more sort of flabbergasted that she was able to walk away from it?
Listen, I understand what the jury did, but I really thought, because there wasn't just a murder charge, there was aggravated child abuse, there was a manslaughter charge, besides her misdemeanor lying to the police counts for which she was convicted. I thought they'd find her guilty of something. This was a mother whose baby was missing for 30 days and she didn't tell anyone. She was lying over and over to friends and family about her daughter, making them believe her daughter was alive when in fact she wasn't. She was in a garbage bag and a laundry bag thrown in the woods about a quarter mile from the Anthony home. Casey lived with her parents at the time. And so, I thought something, she'd be convicted of some felony related to the child's death. I was in the courtroom when the verdict was read. And it kind of knocked the wind out of me. I had to take a breath and say, did I just hear what I heard? That they gave her a complete pass except for lying to the police.
Now, you mentioned Casey's parents. I'm told that they were actually included in this show. Can you give us any kind of, I know you don't want to give it all away, but can you give us kind of like a little bit of a hint about what their participation was like, what their feelings are, something, a little bit of a taste?
Well, it appears that there isn't much of a relationship these days between Casey Anthony and her parents. She does not live with them. She was living with them at the time that her daughter was killed. These are parents who are still suffering because they lost their granddaughter, whom they loved very much. And for all intents and purposes, they've lost their daughter, whom they also loved. So it's kind of a look back after all these years. The acquittal was on July 5th, 2011, to see where they are now. And the case still has a lot of interest because of these open questions. Cases that either remain unsolved or people feel justice wasn't served are still very much of interest. Like JonBenet Ramsey, no one's ever arrested. In this case, many people feel that Casey Anthony is or was responsible to some degree for her daughter's death.
Now, you bring up some of those past cases. There seems to be a resurgence in interest in pop culture in some of these true crime cases. We've seen a lot of heat around OJ. You talked about JonBenet Ramsey. Even the Making a Murderer situation, people really want to look back. Yeah. What do you think people are finding so fascinating about this, and why now?
Well, it's a good question. Crime, the whole genre is of interest, whether you're telling a short story or a long story. But there is an appetite for these long-form storytelling shows, whether it's in several episodes or 2 hours. And people like a deep dive into the case. They like to do their own little investigation and really see how it was put together and what questions remain. So there is this nostalgia for these past cases that captivated America, and this was one of them. Casey Anthony was one of them. She was a nobody in the sense that she wasn't a public figure like O.J. Simpson at the time that her daughter died. But the attention to the case made her a public figure, and people were just captivated. After all, in this case, when you look at what happened, a young unwed mother, the father of this baby was never in the child's life. She's raising this child with her parents, and then She's accused of killing the child, and the state is seeking the death penalty. I mean, the stakes don't get higher, and the type of crime can't be just more heinous. I mean, a mother killing her child, as the allegations were. She, of course, continues to deny it, although many believe that, despite her denials, she was complicit or, in fact, did it herself.
I have one last question for you. You covered Casey Anthony for a very long time. I feel like you know her better than, well, you do know her better than anybody else here. The question is, when this special airs, is Casey Anthony the kind of person that will sit and watch this because she needs to know what's being reported about her, or do you think that she kind of ignores this thing and tries to focus on moving forward?
I believe that Casey Anthony will watch every minute of this. Wow. It is a 3-part series, and I think that she will be very well aware of who is saying what on this series.
Wow. Casey Anthony, An American Murder Mystery, premieres Sunday.
I'm going to watch.
At 10, 9 Central on Investigation Discovery. Beth, I can't thank you enough for being here with us. This was really good. Really interesting.
My pleasure, guys.
Make sure to subscribe to TMZ Live to keep up to date on the latest entertainment news.
And if you want to keep watching, click on one of these videos right now.